having a blast right now.
Yeah. I heard you bitches was looking for me.
Bitch, here I go.
Alright. Hey, it's FineGirl Dime, and do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and remember, if you are already subscribed, that means that you are already one of the Fine Girls, and welcome back, Fine Girls. Alright, so we got a new scenery, new scenery. If you don't already, follow my travel channel, follow me on Instagram, and I'm not on TikTok like that, so just don't follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, follow my foodie page. Alright, so we have so many things that we have to prepare for this October. If you haven't watched this, I have to catch my breath. Okay, if you haven't watched this, okay, that is gonna keep you abreast to all the new to like my plan for October. So it's 31 days of Dime, and I'm gonna be posting every single day in October, so you are gonna see a lot of me. So make sure your notification buttons are on, okay? All right, we're gonna record a lot today, and I'm going to just tell a story time right now. You know, I'm like kind of curling my hair. I'm trying to see like how is this gonna come out. You may not see for this story time, but you're gonna see for another story time. So let's get started. If you do not know, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I'm gonna tell you guys a scary story about a situation that I was in, okay? All right, so this story goes back to, I'll be talking about Detroit. So if you haven't seen this story time, you can get to know Detroit a little bit here. But I'm gonna, that was like one of my toxic relationships. So that was my toxic relationship. That relationship taught me to choose better. Okay, no offense to that. I don't know, is there offense? I don't know. We both grew. I'm sure he just changed by now or whatever. I would hope so, but we have both changed and matured. So let me go to the very beginning, okay? I told you guys earlier about how I was I used to work in retail. So when I worked in retail, I was put on the guy's side, and I would just be selling stuff, okay? I would just sell. Well, one day somebody from Detroit came in. Well, it was a group of people from Detroit came into the store. They were looking for some pants, some belts, whatever. I don't know why they went in this store to come find pants and belts, because I feel like mostly middle schoolers shopped in this store, but they were there. So they came in, they were looking for some belts while his friends were looking for belts. Then Detroit started talking to me. We exchanged numbers. We talked for a while. 6 months later, we decided to be boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't even remember like how he asked, because that was such a long time ago. But one thing that I did remember about him was that he, like, I didn't have a car at the time, and he didn't have a car at the time, but he still found a way to like come pick me up for dates and all that kind of stuff. So it was really cool. We got along. Now we are gonna go into, make sure you watch this story time, okay? Watch this story time, okay? So go back, watch this story time. When you finish watching that story, come back here, because now I'm gonna tell you maybe like a year after that story time is when this story I'm about to tell you takes place. Actually, no, 2 years later after that story time, this takes place. We have been boyfriend and girlfriend for I think 3 years now, on and off. I had this friend, what are we gonna call him, because he has a story time too. What are we gonna call him? We're gonna call him Josue, okay? So me and Josue, we were in a friend group, which was composed of Janae, myself, Josue, and Zachary. If you know me and you know, let me just focus, okay? So it was us four. Now Josue, he had a crush on me, but I didn't know it at the time, okay? So that's another story for itself. Actually, I might record that story today and then just save it for another day. But we were pretty close. Like, the whole group, we would hang out together literally every single day. On the weekends, we would still hang out together. Now, mind you, I did not know about the crush that Josue had on me, okay? For me, it was platonic. So one day I go over to my ex's, or I'm calling him my ex, but he was my boyfriend at the time. So I go over to Detroit's house and we are just like hanging out and stuff like that, and we eventually go to sleep. So I go to sleep, I get awakened at night, and it's just like a shake. And no, he didn't even shake me, he's just like, hey, Dime. But it's like angry, it's like not, he didn't go like this or anything, but the way he said it was very aggressive. Like, you know how, I don't want to compare it to people from New York, because people from New York, they can speak aggressively and very like, be happy. So I don't want to compare it to that, but well, you could say that it was kind of like that, but this was different. I could tell he was upset. So he's upset, and then he's like, Dime. I'm just like kind of groggy, like, oh, yes. And then he shakes me because I'm still not really up yet. And then now I'm up, and he puts my phone in my face, so now I'm really up because, you know, the light shining. I'm just like, and remember, if you did what you were supposed to do, you watched this movie, I mean, you watched this video, so you know that the trust is not all the way there. So even years later, he still did not trust me. I should have broke up that relationship, but you live and you learn. So now I'm like, oh my goodness, here he go with this again. Because honestly, like I told you, he never really trusted me after this story time. So it'll be like random things happening here and there. He mad at me, and I'm blinded by my own cell phone because I had it on high brightness, and then I see like some type of meme. Do I remember what the meme is now? No, I don't remember what the meme is now, but it was just like a regular meme, and it could have been taken as a sexual connotation like within the meme. And I was just like, I was confused because I'm just waking up, and then he was just like, why is Josue texting you and blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, because, you know, you can't control what other people message you or what they send you. So I'm surprised that he sent me this, because mind you, I didn't know about that secret or that crush, okay? So I'm just like, what? So I'm like reading it again, and then he reads it out loud, and he's like, this and that and that and that. And I was just like, because the thing is, like, when you, let's say someone is like in love, like when they're in love, sometimes they see things with rose-colored glasses, right? Now, if you jealous and you're a jealous person, you can see things with green tinted glasses. So there's that. So I think that was the case for this. Granted, you know, sometimes a guy can tell when another guy likes his girl, and same for a girl can tell when another girl likes her guy. So I actually think that was the case here, and I was just like, unbeknownst to me at that time. So I was just like very annoyed, very afraid. So at that point, y'all, don't wake me up. Don't wake me up if I'm sleeping. I don't like that. What did Grandma hear me say? I don't like that, and I don't like that. Okay, so I was upset. So now I'm trying to get my laptop, and I can't get my laptop now because he like takes it out of my hand, and it like dropped. And you know, when it dropped, like that laptop at the time was the most expensive thing that I had bought, and it was touchscreen. So when it dropped, when he like kind of knocked it out of my hand, when we like kind of fighting over it some, it broke with the charger in the inside. So I don't have my charger right now, but I'm gonna just try and describe it as best as I can. So let's say that you have a charger, and the charger is like an L shape. Well, this part of the L broke in the laptop, so now I can't charge the laptop at all. And I'm just like, oh, so I'm just like trying to get out of there because I'm annoyed at this point. I'm just like, at this point, I don't even want to explain. I'm just like, I told you what's the case. Like, they literally have been in the same room together, the same area. So I'm just like, what is, go, stop. I'm going to bed. But I'm not going to bed here. I'm going to bed to my own bed. So I'm packing my stuff up, packing my stuff up. He's still complaining about the meme. Now I'm ready to get my phone. No, I'm ready to get my keys. So I'm like, I'm getting ready to grab my keys. He grabs my keys, and he's like, you're not going anywhere. And I was just like, the F you think I'm not going anywhere? I cursed at the time. So I was like, you think I'm not going anywhere? Watch me. So I tried to get my keys. It didn't work, okay? it didn't work, as you can assume, because I'm sure you went back and watched this story time. So I wasn't getting my keys back. So once I wasn't getting my keys, he's focused on the keys, I get my phone and I'm just like boop 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 boop. Hello, 911. So once I call 911, I like the way I'm telling this story is like very like, I guess you can't really like see how afraid and how like, I don't know, I was very worked up and very afraid at the time, but you can't really, I don't think you can see it right now because I don't know, I've grown from that situation and I'm past it, but it was something that was really scary for me at the time. At this point, I called 911. I let them know. He didn't believe I was on the phone with 911. I guess he just knew I wasn't going to call 911. But clearly he didn't know me that well, because I will call the cops. If there's one thing, two things for sure. If there's an issue, I'm calling the cops. I'm calling them. Call me Karen. I'm calling the cops. So I called them. And I had a whole conversation, but he didn't believe I was having a conversation. So then I hung up. They said they were bringing cops on the way. I figured it'd take a while considering where we were, and because it was the hood. So I figured it was gonna take a while for them to come. And somehow then he gets my phone, so I'm able to get my keys. And honestly, I feel like he let me get the keys. What's going on at this time? I'm not so sure. Like, this whole thing is like kind of, I'm not sure what we're saying at the time because your girl was worked up. I was stressed, okay? I was stressed. I was like, oh my gosh. Because I told y'all I was sheltered. I had never been in a situation like this, ever. So, y'all, I don't know. Like, maybe this is like back in my mind because my mind is like, girl, you need to keep that back there, okay? It's the past. So, I don't remember everything that was going on or everything that we were talking about, or I can't really say talking about, but everything that was being said or cried by someone. I don't mean cried. I mean, like, you know how you read a book and it's like blah blah blah, cried because they were really loud. So that's what was going on. So we were talking, or we were like, there was back and forth, and oh, I remember what I was saying. One thing I do remember saying is like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. Give me my stuff so I can go home. I want to get out of here. He wasn't letting me go. So I was able to get out of the room, you guys. I don't know how I got out of the apartment, but I got out of the apartment. I'm trying to get in my car with my keys, and he is blocking me from getting in my car. Like, this is like a real life horror story. And that's when the cops came. So when the cops came, they realized that we were the couple that I called about, and he is very shocked because he realized, oh, she really did call the cops on me. She called the cops on me. Yes, I did. Then they like kind of separate us. They asked his story. They asked him his story. They asked me my story, and I tell them everything that I told y'all. And then they were like, so what do you want to do? And I didn't really understand when they meant like, what do you want to do? I'm just like, I want to go home. And that's what I just told them. I was just like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. So I told them I just want to go home. And they're like, okay, you can go home. And is there anything that you have to get from the apartment? And I was like, no, I have all my stuff in my backpack. And maybe they were thinking I lived there. I don't know. But yeah, they said that. So I wish I could tell you that was when I broke up with him and that's when the relationship was over, but neither are true, okay? The story continues. The saga continues. So you guys, that's part one of the story, okay? That's the second time. Actually, I probably should have broke up with him even before that incident happened. Definitely, but that's like one of the many times I should have broke up with that person, and I did not. So at the time, like years later, I ended up dating a criminal lawyer, and we were just going back and forth, just like talking, you know. And he mentioned something, and then I was like, oh, that's happened to me. And like, I didn't know it until like years later that I was false imprisoned. So that when somebody traps you in a room and you can't leave, that's false imprisonment. And I know sometimes ladies do this to guys, like they in an argument and the guy's like, I need to get out, I need to get out, and the ladies like trap him in the room or in the house, and they're like, no, you're not going nowhere, you're not going nowhere. Like, that's false imprisonment. I did not know that until later. So that explained why the police asked me, hey, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to charge him for false imprisonment? That's definitely a story. So I guess you're probably wondering, like, what was the last straw? Like, I also have some other story times about Detroit, but I'm sure you're wondering, like, what was the last straw? When did you actually leave? So I left, like, me and God, like 4 years into the relationship. Remember, it was on and off. I got closer to God, closer to myself, and I realized that he and I were not going in the same directions. Granted, he wasn't doing as, like, he had actually, like, I feel like we both were maturing. He stopped doing like toxic things and I stopped doing toxic things, but I feel like he still didn't really trust me all the way. So I felt like, you know what, I need to start over. I don't need to be with someone that doesn't trust me. Just because you date someone for a really long time, it doesn't mean that you're meant to be with them forever. So yeah, like, I kind of just, there was no like incident that made me be like, you know what, it's over, I can't stand you, I'm done with this. It was just like me growing up and being like, you're not the person for me, we're going in different directions. Now that ended up being a story, and I actually forgot this story happened until my mom told me. Okay, so Detroit, he had to go up to Detroit at one point towards the end of our relationship. Like, we had already been broken up at this point, so he had to go back up to Detroit for something, but he came back down for something else. But I had his TV, so instead of him bringing his TV back up where he was just like, oh well, can I just keep it at your house and you can just like watch it or whatever until like I come back down, or I'll get another one like if you like it and stuff like that. So I don't even watch TV like that, and I was never really like a fan of big TVs until I had that TV, and I was like, you know what, I think I like having a big TV. But anyways, he and I, we broke up. I still had his TV. I let him know that he could come get my TV. So my mom, she's sitting on the couch. I don't know where I am at this point, but she's sitting on the couch and she hears a knock on the door, and she's like, oh, Detroit, what you doing here? Hey, Dime not here. And then he's like, oh, I came here to get my TV. Hey, Miss Dime's last name. I came here to get my TV. And then he was like, oh, and then my mom was like, oh, well, my husband, he isn't here right now, so you're gonna have to come back another time. Tell me why. I was supposed to say his name. Tell me why Detroit came in my mama house. Despite her saying no, he just let himself in. He went to my room, unhooked his TV. My mama talking, all that stuff. She's saying something. I don't know what she's saying at that point. I gotta go back and ask her that because now I'm kind of curious. But he came, he got his stuff. It was real quick, and then he left. And then when me and my mom was talking on the phone, she was like, yeah, I've been meaning to tell you that. I'm like, mama, it's been how many years? We're just gonna say, let's say it's been like 8 years. I'm like, mama, it's been 8 years since this incident and you're just now telling me? And she also said, she's like, no, like, you're not keeping nobody else stuff in our house anymore. And yeah, that's a no. And I'm just like, no, I don't think I'd ever have to do that, or like, I don't know. I won't be in a situation like that ever again, because that was college. I'm an adult. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good time. Bye.